Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And here we go again. The Lord of the Rings is racist. Orcs are black people. All the tropes from 2014, 2015.
They're just doing this again because they're desperately trying to get a foothold once again and be like, we're the ones that control the narrative. And it's not working because people are tired of it. They got tired of being called names for stupid reasons like this one. And it's not going to work. You're just trying to drum up bullshit that isn't going to stick.
So I'm seeing a lot of this. It's not just Lord of the Rings, but I'm seeing it now with Dungeons and Dragons too, where all these old arguments are coming up again. Gary Gygax was a racist. D&D was inherently racist. And we saw all this, a couple of years ago, there was a wave of it, and then it kind of sort of died down for a while. And now it's coming back probably because the TDS is kicking in. And
I think if several years later, you got a new wave of young people, you gotta make sure you pickle.
Yeah, it's coming from colleges, and that's where all of this comes from, is academia. They're all like, oh, all these things are problematic. Tolkien was a professor, so I think they have to go after him extra hard. But like Dungeons and Dragons, they were just kind of like working class guys that came up with this game, and took a lot of his ideas and incorporated it into the game.
What is this class? Is it part of the class, or is the whole class on Tolkien?
I think it's a class on Tolkien. So this
gets me. When I was in college, and they were pushing this kind of shit back then, but when I was in college, you didn't have whole classes on cartoons, or like it's a Tolkien class, or they have literally classes on, Taylor Swift. Like, I mean, you didn't have that because that's stupid. You're paying all this money to be taught not to have a class on your fandom, and that's what they're doing now.
So let's talk about this because they got to make money somehow, right?
They got to control the fandom somehow too, don't they? Professors want to control the fandoms.
Yeah, and I think like I said, they go extra hard at Tolkien because he was a professor. He's a very educated guy, but it's like I guarantee you, Tolkien was smarter than you, meaning the people who are creating these stupid courses. And this kind of goes along with I talked yesterday about like esports. They have like degrees in esports and all these worthless.
Wait, for real?
Yes. I told you that before.
And people are paying for so they're going into student debt, complaining how they can't live. They can't afford to live because they're college debt, but their degree is in esports.
Yes. They actually have grants for it and all this other. It's so ridiculous.
I can't. What's the degree in esports?
Esports. Anyway, well, actually, all you got to do for
degree doesn't make you good.
All you got to do now for esports is just jiggle your tits. You don't have to actually play games.
Well, I'm just saying though, for esports though, if you're actually playing and you have a degree, I'm going to have a degree so I can play esports. For one, that's stupid. Why pay the money? Two, that doesn't just because you have a degree in something doesn't make you mean you're good at it. Like you can get a degree in something because colleges shit you through. They don't care. Doesn't mean you can do the job. Doesn't mean you're actually good at it. I mean, look at animation. Anyway,
so we're going to talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So this comes from the Telegraph. Students shall not pass unless they accept Lord of the Rings is offensive. University course suggests Tolkien's treatment of evil characters follows a tradition of anti-African antipathy. What? A university teaching students that J.R.R. Tolkien demonizes people of color in Lord of the Rings books. This has been going on for at least a decade now.
Yeah, again, if you're looking at orcs and you're like, oh, those are automatically black people, then I'm just thinking there's something wrong with you.
Yes, and there actually are so many well-written articles out there debunking it, actually coming from people on the left. There are people on the left that have written articles debunking the myth that orcs are stand-ins for black people. It's so stupid. Now they're stand-ins for Mexican people.
Yes, according to the art.
Yes, because they have, the history module called Decolonizing Tolkien, taught at the University of Nottingham, uses a text that says orcs and other dark-skinned characters in the trilogy are the victims of ethnic chauvinism.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, they're not real.
Dr. Anoki Nubia, a historian and writer who leads the module, argues that Eastern races in the fictional realm of Middle-earth are depicted as evil, while fairer-skinned peoples of the West are shown as virtuous. In academia, decolonizing usually means re-examining or moving away from white Western viewpoints. In England, we're going to do that in England.
Oh, no, this totally tracks in England right now.
Yeah, right. So he writes that the maligned people include the Easterlings, the Southrons, men from Harad. The trilogy also features the dark-skinned orcs, evil creatures that do the bidding of Sauron, known as the Dark Lord. It adds that Tolkien's treatment of the fictional races shares in the tradition of anti-African antipathy, in which people from Africa are painted as the natural enemy of the white man.
This is stupid. They're just
Why are you in
characters.
England? Why are you in England of all places if that's how you feel?
I know, right?
Now they're going after Narnia too. Oh, for
two they always go after. They always go after those two. Those are the two they always go after. It's like you're going on about how intelligent you are and you're in academia and everything else. Yet you go for the lowest hanging fruit that has been overdone repeatedly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So Outkick has it here. They're trying to be middle of the road, I think, on the Telegraph, but Outkick calls it out. Woke professor makes completely absurd claim Lord of the Rings is racist. This has been debunked so many times, but now you have to pay to have your kids be brainwashed into thinking this is the case. And this is why they pushed really hard for brown hobbits and brown elves and all this stuff in the Amazon, because this whole thing's been going around for about 10 years now.
What gets me is they always are mad because some big piece of work they want to piggyback on for attention. It's like, oh, it features a cast that's mostly like light skinned or whatever, because based on the time period it was written and who wrote it, and you should write about what you know. I mean, not that he was around fantasy creatures, but I'm just saying usually they frown upon light skinned people writing about dark skinned characters, that you can't do that because you don't share their experience. But then they get pissed when you don't have them in your stories. But then if there's a book about black people living in in Africa, or black people living in Chicago or someplace like that, would be some stereotypical something, then and it's written by black people, it's okay to have all black characters or all Asian characters. Anime, they look Western, but they're all Asian. That it's okay to have all that, because that's not discrimination. You're not keeping anybody out. But if you have a book that has characters that are all mostly light-skinned people, that's discrimination. And I never got that, because it's like you're not allowed to write those characters, or you're a racist. And if you don't put them in, you're a racist. So there's no fucking way to win. But then if you're going to read all these other works of fiction that have a whole bunch of people that are all from one area, or all that are one ethnicity, that's completely fine. It's like, where are my white people in those stories? It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
Look, this is just ridiculous. Basically, yeah, none of this is real anyway, but they really do think it's like the worst thing. Like, again, this is just shining another spotlight on how important pop culture is to culture, to our society, that they have to go so hard at trying to tear down Western literature, and D&D has been a target for a while now, and it's so weird because they go after white dudes, but it's primarily white dudes that play this stuff, read this stuff.
Well, not now, because what's going on. I think these people themselves I like D&D, but I'm a new person to the thing, and I'm one of the gatekeepers, and I want to make sure I gatekeep everybody out that isn't like me, and that's what they're going on. So they're going in, these professors who are a lot of times younger and playing D&D for a few years now, are going in, or they're new fans of something, are going into colleges and trying to put this narrative out there that isn't even true. You can don't put orcs in your campaign. It's not that big of a deal.
God, okay. So this the writer for Outkick here claims to be a Tolkien fan, and he said the reason that the evil groups in Tolkien were darker skinned is because they came from the warmer climates. Because remember, Middle Earth was supposed to be a history of Britain, right?
Well, to me, that right there, you're admitting that's what they are according to the Tolkien, but that doesn't explain it in D&D.
Well, because D&D took a bunch of.
But you could also argue they're darker skinned because in imagery over the years, right or wrong, and before people were hanging out in Africa all the time. And there's a lot of people in Africa who are white, by the way. The imagery usually is if someone's evil, they're usually a darker. Like you have angels are white, devils dark. You know what I mean? They usually have a darker countenance to them because they're supposed to be darkness, evil, that kind of stuff. There's that in play too, and it has nothing to do with people in Africa or something like that.
So they said the orcs character supposedly showed that Tolkien loved ethnic chauvinism and hated people of color. However, the orcs were once elves
Right.
who gave
Well,
themselves
yes.
to evil and became deformed. The funny part, all elves are depicted as white.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Because you're turning evil. You're turning, it's like all the darkness, like the night, the dark, the evil. It's all sucking into you and turning you black. I mean, or because you're like, not really alive. You are, but you aren't. And what happens when you're dead? You know what I mean? Kind of thing. It's like there's a lot of reasons that you would use a darkness. You're the embodiment of darkness. So you're not going to be a lighter color. I'm sorry.
So look, I mean, we've had this conversation so many times. The orcs are racist, orcs are black people, whatever. I can't believe we're doing it again. But again, now they're getting paid for it, right? Yeah, Lauren Chen here had the orcs were savage and mindlessly violent. Progressives, this reminds me of non-white people.
Yes, I'm more like that's your go-to.
There's Gary. Tolkien with the middle finger. Yeah, I think he'd be giving all the middle fingers to all of the adaptations of his work post Christopher Tolkien. I mean, everything has just been upended, but they've been trying very, very hard because I think Tolkien is so central to modern Western culture that this would be a huge win to tear down Tolkien, right? And they've been trying to tear down Tolkien. And again, this is why inexplicably we have, brown hobbits, brown dwarves, and it doesn't make any damn sense if you mesh it up with the movie. It's not supposed to mesh up with movies, but like, where did they go? It's worse now.
Speaking of this, okay, yeah, I know it's like genocides. Okay, I'll just give a reverse Uno here. What do they always tell everybody else when they don't like the new versions of whatever? They don't like a show. They don't like the new She-Ra. They don't like all these changes made to whatever. It's not for you. Don't watch it. Well, there you go. It's not for you. Don't watch it. Don't read it. Don't play it. I don't want else to tell you. It's not for you, I guess. That's what you tell everybody else. Why is it when it's everybody else, it's not for you, but when it's you, everything has to be changed to accommodate you? It's like, then go start your own thing. Go read something else that's adjacent that has what you want in it. Instead of tearing down and trying to change everything that's already been around for, decades, and it's written in another time, it's product of its time. And I'm surprised, some of these people that complain can even read it. And I'm like, just don't read it then.
Yeah, if it's so offensive, don't read it. Don't play D&D if it's so offensive.
Right. Or don't put these characters in your campaigns. No problem. But that's why we have the coffee shop.
Well, people keep calling the new version of D&D bakers and baristas.
I know. That's what we kept joking. That's what we call those bakers and baristas. That's
just call bakers and baristas. We should make a game called Bakers and Baristas.
We should.
And just make it the most.
Have an idea. If it was a story, though.
We did have an idea. Yeah.
We should do that. Actually, not Bakers and Baristas. It was funny. Anyway, continue.
And it tied into this. Actually, it did tie into this. But no, they're talking about also in the Telegraph. They're talking about these worthless degrees, and they said that there are 600,000 graduates on benefits right now in the UK. But they said they have a lot of these worthless degrees. They said this is just one of them. They said there are other ones.
Yep, there's a Taylor Swift class. Told you.
Yep, Taylor Swift stand-up comedy, David Beckham studies, surf science, puppetry.
Wait, these are actual degrees or classes?
These are actual classes. Yeah.
No. It's a degree.
Oh no, it's a degree in surf science. Yeah, this is right there with the esports degree. Yeah.
If you're a parent and you let your kids do this, then slap yourself.
God, this is
what
insane.
The hell?
Well, no, it's up to the parents too. The parents need to be like, you know what, I'm not paying for this. And then it turns out that the kids go to school and then they're still unemployed.
Well, over there though, a lot of this don't they get colleges, with their tax money? So it's okay. So what's going on at these colleges, especially in these places that were, I'm not sure, but if that's one of those situations. Like I know California's another place that if you live in the state, you get like free college in certain locations and stuff, or it used to be. These people they're just going to make shit up that's going to push their agenda because they don't care if you get a job. If you're dumb enough to take the class, then you deserve it. And then because no one's paying for it, these kids are doing it. If you have to pay for your own damn degree and you have to actually be able to use your degree, I guarantee you're not going to take, tiddlywinks and, bartenders and baristas. Or bread makers and baristas, or whatever the hell it's called. You're not going to take classes on that because it's not going to benefit. You're just paying for how much thousands of dollars you just flushing down a toilet you have to pay back.
These universities have to justify their existence. They have to justify their grants.
Professors have to justify their existence.
Exactly. I mean, you're tenured. You get, you have a job for life, just sponging off of grant money and idiocy. And everybody was under the delusion for years that you had to go to school. you had to go to university to become something, and that's not the case now. Actually, most of those jobs are probably going to be obliterated, or
honestly, you're better to go for like blue collar jobs. Learn how to be a plumber, learn how to be an electrician, things that AI isn't just going to up and replace.
Yeah.
I think you're better to do that. A lot of people will go to school and you don't even need to. Like, I was a teacher, so I had to go to school for it. But there's a lot of jobs out there you don't even need a college degree for. Hell, Kneon was an editor for paper and everything else and beat out graduates all the time, and he doesn't have a degree.
No,
he got shafted out of that one. That's a whole other story. But
yeah, I had to work my ass off. But.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you don't have to have it. And I know people who are making more money than people with degrees. And then they don't owe all the money. It's just, just be smart about it. I'm not saying don't go to college. I mean, if you want to go to college, you really want to go, and it would behoove you to do so, then by all means go. But don't be wasting your time and money on stuff like this. You don't need a Taylor Swift class, a surf something class. I mean, that's indicative of a place that has a lot of free money that they can bilk out of. Yeah. Because most people aren't going to pay for that shit. They have to pay for it.
No.
So I can't wrap my head around the stupidity, and they wonder why they're in the problems. They have the problems they have. Anyway,
so there we go, guys. It's just like I'm tired of this. I think everybody's getting tired of this. I don't think anybody's taking it seriously, but like I said, it does dovetail with all these attacks now on Gary Gygax and all this other nonsense going on again. I thought we put this argument to rest years ago, but apparently not.
And it'll come back in another several years when they have a whole new crop of college kids coming in. They have to try to pickle and turn against the establishment or whatever. So I don't know. If this is what you think is going on, then you're an idiot.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of those in the world.
Apparently.
So.
And then they're just cranking out more idiots. Congratulations.
Yeah, so let's wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.